When you parent a child on the spectrum, you have to unlearn everything you've known. You know, by age 2, the child should be doing this. By age, you stop. You unlearn. You have got to unlearn. You have got to stop comparing. You need a set of tools. You need a box. You know, like I said, you're going to the bush. You're going to the forest. What tools do you go with? The reason I use the forest is you don't know what you don't know. There are creeping plants, there are bloods, there are trees. There's what you have to unlearn. You're in the forest with your child, your special child, whom you expected for 9 months. And you went and did balloons and said, is it a girl, is it a boy? And you bought all the balloons. You know what I mean? You did all this. Now a child with autism doesn't come with a manual like all the other kids. The difference is now this one is unique. You're trying to understand yourself, this child, society, and the future. You're here thinking, when my child is 20, I used to tell Irene, my son will be your son's best man when they are getting married.
You know?
Do you get it? We live at the age when the children were 5 years old, we're worried about these kids when they are 30.
Yes.
You have to unlearn everything about parenting you know or have heard or read. You have to not compare, my child is doing this, what's your child doing? That doesn't mean you're not going to answer that to society about that. Which class is your child? Is a very regular question that people ask.
Yes, especially those early years. Yes.
Even now. The people you were expecting a child with, you went to see all these gains, you were in the queue together, you bought the clothes together. Their kids have done S4 and they got 10 in 8. Is that, I hear people saying 10 in 8 and I'm saying, what's that? Because I don't know what it means. Now yours doesn't know what 10 in 8 is. Even you don't know what it means. So normally when they find you and they're like, which class is Jeremiah? For me, I tell them, he's in the Mommy School of Love. I had to find a name for it.
I love that.
Mommy School
of Love.
Yes, I had to find it.
Yeah.
Mothers, be encouraged.
Theirs is in a certain school. I want to state this categorically that education does not begin or happen in a school X. It doesn't happen there. Don't worry about your child not being able to write 1 to 10 because on the whole scheme of things, it actually doesn't matter.
If you're speaking my heart as an educator for special needs.
True.
It doesn't matter.
You're speaking my heart.
Parents would say, my child is not writing his name. And I'm saying, let me ask you, after he writes his name, then what? What's the end game? He should be able to write his name, then what? In this age of computers where he can type Jeremiah.
Exactly.
It can be speech to text even if he can say it.
Are you with me? So at a certain time, after having tried out so many schools, some I was asked to leave because, to be really honest, there are schools, I hope now they don't, who thought then that their other children would be infected by autism. So the parents sat down and said, sorry, but we don't want your child to infect our kids. And I had to leave. Found a school. Tried others. It didn't work out for many reasons. I wrote down a list of things that I wanted to be achieved. Social skills, academic goals, different goals, they're not being achieved. But I also knew, as I later realized, that this child needed to generalize the skills and he was going to outgrow these schools, the physical environments. Now, I am not discounting the need for schools. They are very important because the children, they need to socialize. And when they're at home in the 4 walls, they don't socialize. Unless you pay specific attention to specific things. Not everybody has those facilities. So, you have to reflect as a parent on where to take your child and be very present on what they need to learn.
At every stage.
Like regular children don't learn to be polite from school. Why are we expecting children on the spectrum to learn to be polite from school? The parent has a role they must play, whether your child is at home or in a school. Good if you don't know what to do, take them to a center because they know. A specialized place, well-trained, they know. And it is important that you take them there because they are not driving this child for goals, to say this child is scoring 40% in mathematics, they need to be scoring 90%. In those schools they are saying, or centers they are saying, this child, they have individualized development plans.
Exactly.
They are saying this child biologically is 14, but on the spectrum, we see them aged 4. These are the goals we're setting for them. Are we
Very
together?
powerful.
Very powerful, and it has to be individualized.
Yes.
You said at the beginning, if they're 100,000,
The
they are
100,000.
100,000. You can't have the same plan for
Exactly.
everybody.
But can I just say, I think what she said something in there that I think is really, really key. We've spoken many times here and told parents to be very patient with educators and work with them and understand, the paces that the children are on. But I think it's also very important that educators or people who have centers and work with children can also communicate to parents. You see what you've just said about how biologically this child is at 14, but we can see that they are at. There's just that statement also rearranges your expectations. You don't come in expecting, 90%, because when you see if there's a certain grading system and your child has gotten 40% out of 100, naturally you're going to be like, so why didn't we get 100? Instead of actually starting with, first calm down. We know that they are at this stage and stuff, but this is where their learning abilities are. And that kind of also rearranges you. I think it's really important that educators also communicate that to parents when they're before they go into
the need to go to those specialized centers that understand this, because if you go to a regular school, they may not.
If you go to a regular school, they are looking for primary school, math, English, science.
Yes.
The child on the spectrum cannot go and say head, thorax, abdomen. If they are able to do that, it's a spectrum. Not all of them may.
Yes.
So if you're measuring your child's ability on scoring 98% and you're assessing the school based on that, you are the problem, you're the parent. And this is where the challenge is that the parents, some of them, they're not monolithic. Some of them, when I gave birth to my son Jeremiah, I was expecting an engineer, like from MIT.
You have dreams. Yes.
That's what I wrote down. I said, my son, whatever happens, he's going to MIT. I looked at MIT, what they need when he was 2 months old. I knew he was going to MIT. Everything looked normal. He's going to do science. He won't have to do these other things. This is how we are going to do. This is the structure.
You built your own path.
Yes. God had a different plan. And I have great admiration for that plan, because Jeremiah, he's taught me more than I have taught him. Because you're walking and walking and walking and turning left. And he's turning right or standing there. He's not saying anything. He's just standing there.
Looking at you going.
Until I keep thinking, what am I going to do that's more than speech, that's going to make this child turn with me?
Yes.
Am I going to drag? How long am I going to be playing these games of pull the person?
Yes.
You can do those in your house, not when you're in a public, an international airport.
Oh, wow, yeah.
You get it. So take your child to a center if you cannot do certain things.
Yourself.
To a place that is specialized in this place. Why? They are not doing a curriculum where they are saying the ones in 4A are the ones who get 4 points, aggregate 4.
Yes.
Because as a parent, you're going to take offense when you hear your child is in 4P.
4P, 4E, 4Z.
No,
And in
Z for that
4P,
matter.
there's only 4 kids.
Yes.
And then you walk in and you're saying, why is my child in 4P? I want to see the headmaster. You meet the headmaster and he's looking at you and thinking, you're probably also on the spectrum, because now see.
True.
And they also, really, they have 2 teachers in the class. How your child needs one-on-one.
Exactly. Special attention. Yes.
One-on-one.
One-on-one guidance.
And my take in all this is, much as you're taking them to a specialized center, you shouldn't dump them there. You have to have constant engagement. It is a continuous project that you're working on together with that center.
Learning, Irene, does not take place at school. The child must generalize.
Yes.
They could learn it that's the uniqueness about autism, is that this child would be doing everything in my house and not be able to do it outside my house.
Or the reverse. They do
Or the
it
reverse.
at school
Yes.
or with the therapist, because I've
Yes.
experienced that. Then they can't do it.
At home.
They can't transfer.
Yes.
That is why
Yes.
the parent must work together
Yes.
with the facilitators.
Yes. Whoever is
Yes.
So whatever they are working on the other side,
Yes.
you're also working on it here.
To replicate it.
Replicate it.
So you literally are also, so you the parent, you also are learning. You're in a school, you learn. What are we working on? These are the 4 things.
Yes.
Okay, how are you working on them? This is how we are working on them. Okay, what results are you getting? These are the results we are getting. Fine. At home, we're also going to be working on them. So you also go home and do what? Start working on them. And see what results you're getting.
Yes.
You'll be surprised that there are things you will be the one now leading. You come and tell them, no, it's not working. When you do this Idai work, we've tried out this and it's working.
It is working, yes.
Then you come and tell the school,
Yes.
or the center, or the trainer
Yeah.
that, this is what you need to do. We've been trying to get him to write using the right. The mother is using the left and the child is writing. Or instead of writing the letters and the numbers, just draw balls and sticks. And then the child will combine the two, join them and learn. So learning is north, south. Somebody is teaching. Sometimes it's the maid at home who will tell you, no, for us we make him eat the fork with the fork like this. How? So you pay attention. Everybody around that person is a trainer.
It's a trainer.
Yes.
So it is a combination of support systems. It's a trainer
Everywhere.
Yes.
everywhere.
Yes.
And you can train with everything
Around you.
around you. Around you.
So Judith, back to you. So your school journey, you've gone from this school, you've gone to that one, eventually.
I've gone to the schools.
Yes.
I've tried out different things.
Yes.
I've set targets.
Yes.
While I'm doing all of this, by the way, I'm also now also converting to acceptance.
And
Yes.
that's what I wanted you to bring out.
Yeah.
Acceptance
Yes.
is so important.
Yes.
And the earlier you do it, the better.
Better.
There are parents I have met because I have experience. My son is 17, he's going to be 18. That's a lot of experience. That's 17 years work experience in autism, by the way.
Yeah.
That I need a PhD.
life
I think I already have a PhD in that. So anyway, I've looked at the children like this and in a few minutes thought, that child is not making eye-hand coordination. That child is playing with toys like this. That child is socially is behaving like this. Can you please go and see a practitioner to assess your child for this? And they've said, never use the word autism on my child. Those are so whatever they call it. But you can see when you've been there.
Yes.
Yes.
And so having tried out all those things and without, taking a lot of time in the process of learning, I just said, accept where your child is, what you can and what you can't do, and drive a position for your child. I am the greatest advocate that my child human advocate that my child has.
Yes.
And the last support system, like pretty much the defense. Right behind him is me, right here, I'm here. So what is it that I must do not to concede many goals as a parent? Having experienced a lot of the schools then, because you see, 17 years ago, there were not a lot of centers, not a lot of knowledge, whether it's in Uganda. And let me say, I also took him out of the country. We went to the Autism Center, in one of those countries. I've been to many places to try and find a solution. I didn't stop searching. Like I said, I walked into a forest. And in the forest, there were many things. I was looking for a solution. Then I thought, this child, when he's 25, he will not be in a school X. Because I thought he would outgrow the schools. Sometimes you went to a school and they said, we've been promoting him, but now he's older than the oldest child.
We have no more.
Even you
But,
can see
yes.
that
Yes.
Yeah.
there's no more.
There's no more.
But I can't leave him at home. Or I didn't feel like I should drive out and leave him at home. Even though I knew as I put him in the car to take him to those places, he had outgrown them.
There was nothing else
There's nothing under their curriculum
that could.
that could support the child. So do I take him out of the world and put him where? I then thought, okay, you know what? You have a role to play. Own your role. Don't delegate parenting all of it.
Don't delegate.
You can't delegate parenting.
True.
Don't delegate.
You don't.
Yeah.
Like, you don't. So I said, I have a role to play. What role can I play? What do I want my child to learn? What can he do? Not what, what can't he do? What is it he cannot do? So that I populate the list. What are the facilities that are available? If I was not here in this world, and I'm always very present to one thing. If I was not in this world, where will my child be? My child has siblings, yes. They have a life. My child has a father, yes, that's okay. What if both of us were not here? Whoever is going to say, let us take this child, after everybody has said, oh, Judith was so kind, oh, she was this, everybody, who is going to take my child? And how can I make him independent?
Independent, yes.
Very important.
Yes.
Because I won't always be there to talk for him. I wish I could. But the reality is I won't always be there. So how can I make him independent? What are the most critical skills he needs? The minimum that a human being should have, even if they are not an engineer from MIT. What are the minimum skills he has to have? I heard people, their children would walk out of the gate and disappear. Do the neighbors know him? What can I teach him? Who can teach him? How can I be away from him for a year?
Basically, how can you empower him?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
How can I make him useful to society and relevant and responsible? How can he be in this world and not feel my absence? I reflected on that very, very deeply. It is a very, very tough conversation.
It
Yes,
is.
it is. Yes, it is.
It's a very, very tough conversation. To simulate your absence, your permanent absence, and the impact on your special needs child. It takes away the thing that I wanted my child to be an engineer. That stops mattering. You now start thinking on,
Bigger things.
I can't always take this child to school. At a certain time, they would have outgrown. They'll be 25 or 30. Then what? And much as I thought, oh yeah, I always advocate for my child, I am not indispensable.
True.
What next? So armed with that conversation, and I had that conversation with myself
Yeah.
very, very deeply, I thought, this child has learned everything they need to learn in a physical school, away from home. This good morning, wake up in the morning, drop him somewhere, tell the whole world, oh yeah, I dropped my kids in school. I saw you in the parking, everything. To now, own it. It's a part of your body, work on it.
Yes, yes.
So I then took the decision to take him out of school and teach him and create the most minimum independent of skills that I needed to make him independent.
Hence the school of love.
Sense the school of love.
Hence the Judith School of Love.
Oh,
Judith, I have a question.
I love this.
I first of all, I greatly admire everything that you've done with your son and everything that you're saying. My question is, being the clearly ambitious person that you are, who had these plans for MIT, how did you convince Judith to now convert her mind from that state of being to minus the idea of if you're not here and when you start thinking about his survival minus you, how did you actually calm yourself down? How did you convert your mind to just go to where he is as opposed to where you were
Or where you wanted him to
or
be.
where you wanted him to be? What tools did you use to, because like you said, acceptance, the earlier you do it, the better. But for a parent who's struggling with that acceptance thing, what could you advise them? Like, how did you do it? What you call it here, madam?
Acceptance is that thing that you have got to do for the sake of your child and your own sake. For as long as you're not accepting that this is what you have, you're playing the victim card, and that's true. You're saying life is happening to me. Are you with me? It's happening to me. It's not happening to you. And let me tell you, the day will not stop rolling because you're mourning over who your child didn't become. And by the way, there are also people who don't have kids. So you've got to have that very, very serious conversation with yourself that, but I have done the same thing the same way and I'm not getting different results. This child, the reality is one day you have a big cake, he's 5. The next year he's 6. Time is passing. And then you're saying, let me try school. So you blame the schools until you realize, but wait, how comes other kids are progressing? It's mine.
Yeah.
So you wake up and say, the reality of it is, it is what it is.
Yes.
You have got to face it, that it is what it is. My child is on the spectrum. There are 26 letters on the alphabet. If my plan was A and A is not working,
We move on to the next.
I'm going to move to B. And when B is not working, I'm going to move to B1. So everybody sets out. If you go to a primary school, by the way, everyone is expecting an engineer, a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, aeronautical something, an IT specialist, a data scientist who will one day work in Silicon Valley.
Right.
That's what everybody is expecting. Nobody is expecting. No one is expecting a thief. You will not find a lady if you went to and found 10 pregnant women
Brothers,
expecting. None of them is expecting a thief. All of them are expecting, but then they come. So then you think, how is it that the first one scores 10 in 8 and the middle one doesn't even know 8? So you have that conversation with yourself. The reality check is to then say, time is a constant. It will change. I don't know if you see the irony in that. Time is a constant. It's the factor that's changing. For you, you can deny and say, I'm not going to do anything. I'll pray it away. I'll pray. I'm going to pray this. I'm going to fast this. We went through all of that. Madam, I also prayed. I fasted.
That's what I wanted you to share about how
I
you.
prayed and fasted. That I did.
yeah.
And then I said, you see, if you want to use scripture, God created all of us uniquely, but in his image. But he has a purpose for all of us.
Yes.
And let me tell you, again, if you go and see that story in the Bible, they will tell you that he created them so that they would unique, not because their parents did something, but so that he would be glorified. So I said, I went through all of those things. I cancelled myself out of the experiences I had had. And then I said, it is me, it is my role. The role of parenting Jeremiah is the most special role that God has given me, with
Yes.
plus all his siblings.
Yeah.
I love all my children. They are unique, but there's a reason Jeremiah is a special needs child. He needs a special parent. So now I became the special parent. And I said,
And there's a reason God chose you.
Yeah.
if I was not here, if I don't do anything, I would have maliced my child.
That's true.
That's self-sabotage. If you're doing nothing and saying and playing, if you're playing victim, you're doing nothing. Or you're doing things and saying, oh, I've done everything, they're judging me, it's not working. They're not gonna stop judging you. Who do you want them to
They'll
judge?
judge you either way.
Who do you want them to judge? They'll judge you on the regular kids, they'll judge you on the autism
Yeah.
kids.
In everything.
So who do you want them to? Who do you want to? Even the other ones, by the way, you're doing a lot of work. You're getting teachers to coach them. You're
Yes.
buying
That's it.
textbooks.
That's right,
Yeah.
actually. That's
You're doing
right.
homework
Why do
with
you
them.
think you shouldn't put in
Any
effort
effort
for
for
this?
Who should it be happening to? When you say, why is it happening to me? Who do you want it to happen to? So I sat down and had a bitter conversation with myself. And I said, I must work out something for my child. Everything else will come all together. But as it comes, all the prayers, all the fasting, all the
Yeah.
tablets, all the vitamins, all the stories, pass here and pass there, make sure he does this. All of those things are going to work while I also work out something.
Something true.
Acceptance. And therefore empower the child. I've told you, I said, if I was not here, I've been to funerals and people are saying, the person spoiled their child, who is going to take them up? And I thought, what? And those are kids who can defend themselves. Mine can't. I better be doing something.
Yes.
So you learn. Everything teaches you things. You learn.
So the message here is you just have to have that reality check.
Yes.
And the sooner you do it,
Wake up.
the better.
Yes.
Because whether you sit back or not, it will come.
Yes.
Time
Yeah.
will keep rolling.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think for me
Time
that was
marches
Yeah.
on,
that was the key
Yeah.
takeaway. Like,
Time is the constant. Everything else will change.
Yes.
People, they are looking at it the other way and saying time changes. You know, yes, it does. That's the factor that you need to look out for. To say that, what's the minimum skill that my child should have? Can they feed themselves? Can they make themselves tea?
Yes.
Because nobody's going to change diapers for a 40-year-old child. He's not even a child anymore. Can your child sit on a border? They are delicate, yes, they're more reason. You need to empower them. Now, when you're empowering, if I had to expose Jeremiah to the hardest conditions compared to the siblings, it's Jeremiah that I would expose to the hardest.
Yes.
Because he needs to see the worst conditions
He needs to survive.
yeah.
for him to learn survival,
Yeah.
to be resilient. He needs to be resilient.
So Judith,
No pity parties, that's what I'm saying. I don't attend a pity party.
That's it.
My son don't attend pity parties.
That's the
Well, I'm not sorry. I'm not feeling sorry for him.
100.
I'm saying you have 2 hands, you have 2 legs, you have 2 eyes, you have 2 ears. Try. And then for you, it's going to take longer, but it's not impossible.
yes.
We are going to get there.
Yeah.
Is it easy? No, it's not supposed to be easy. That's why I said it's not a pity party. We're not going to attend pity parties.
And life is not easy, generally. It's not easy.
That is the point.
Yeah. So Judith, I am curious to know about this Judith School of Love. Help our viewers understand what is this that you have done. Maybe we could take a walk through nature.
Yeah, I'll show
And
you.
you help
The
us
teaching has been a
demonstrate.
lot from
Yes.
home,
Yes.
using the things at home.
Yeah.
So maybe, let's walk around as I
Talk about it.
Yeah.
show you how we
Yes.
do the things, just using basic things you have at home.
Yeah.
So what did I do? Ask myself, first of all, this child is growing. They need to exercise. Their muscles need to exercise. They need eye-hand coordination. Their muscles need to be working, hand muscles. How do kids write if they need to write? How do they touch things? Because you'd find that sometimes he's holding the bottle and it's shaking. He's not. Yes. So the tactile function needs to be working. Then I thought, how do we do that? People talk about Play-Doh. But Play-Doh, I don't want to be buying Play-Doh all the time. So what can I use at home under my circumstances? You know, that's not too expensive.
Exactly.
Cassava flour with water, then costs a lot of money. Get him to play with it. Make balls. So as you get cassava flour, you get that dough. He's making balls.
Yes.
You're also
He's
teaching the one.
strengthening, yeah.
Yes,
He's
strengthening.
The hands.
You're also looking at him. You see, it's one thing for us to say this child is not playing appropriately with the toys. Are you playing with him? Or are you throwing toys at him?
And all these toys are plastic. They make noise. They're overstimulating for
Are
these
you
children's
throwing
brain.
toys at him?
Are you throwing toys at him?
So that
Every time
expecting him to
you
figure
go
it
and,
out.
you go and Google which toys help kids to do this. You get them,
And just leave them
send
there.
money somewhere, buy them, give them.
Yes.
My child is not playing appropriate. Have you ever played with this child?
Have got
Can
it
you
down
go
to their
down
level?
to
I said,
Your
you're
God
speaking to my
sent.
educator's heart.
Can you go down to his level?
educator's
Yeah.
When you find him with a bottle down there, can you also, what is it about the bottle that he likes? Because Jeremiah likes a bottle. I used to think, why is Jeremiah always playing with a bottle? What is it? Initially, it made a lot of noise. I thought, why is he with the bottle? Then I said, you know what I need to do? I'm going to go down with him and understand. Slowly, not fast.
Yes.
Don't, and I don't do it 8 to 5. But even if I had to play with him for 10 minutes,
10 minutes a day. Yes.
it is consistent.
Yes.
It's like working that muscle.
Yeah.
You're working that muscle.
Tomorrow he'll bring that bottle to you
Yes.
and want to play with you again. People underscore that.
When he brings the
He'll
bottle,
bring it to you. Yes. because
when he
you
brings the
played.
bottle to
Yeah.
you, show excitement.
Exactly.
Because now he's interacting. He's not disturbing you. You're on your phone. Gemma, I gave you the bottle.
Yes.
Why?
Drop it. And
When he brings the bottle to you, watch him. Smile. Look at him. I've seen people, they are